Tom lived at the edge of the Whispering Woods, surrounded by ancient trees and the quiet company of nature. Though the woods teemed with life, Tom felt alone, longing for a friend to share his adventures and stories. He was shy, his voice often lost, and he wondered if he'd ever find his place or the courage he read about in books. The woods seemed to wait, holding its breath for the moment Tom's true journey, one of friendship and self-discovery, would begin. One bright morning, Tom set out on a walk, his curiosity leading him deeper into the woods than he had ever ventured before. The sunlight filtered through the tall trees, casting playful shadows on the mossy ground. Birds chirped overhead, and the air was filled with the scent of pine and earth. Tom's footsteps were soft, almost hesitant, as he wandered further from the familiar path, drawn by the promise of adventure and the quiet magic of the forest. Suddenly, he heard the sound of laughter echoing through the trees, a joyful noise that seemed to dance on the breeze. Following the sound, Tom soon stumbled upon a sun-dappled clearing, where a group of children were playing together, their faces bright with excitement and friendship. At the edge of the clearing, by a bubbling brook, he spotted Lily and Sam. They were hard at work, trying to build a dam out of smooth stones and fallen branches. Their hands moved quickly, and their laughter rang out as they worked together, their teamwork effortless and joyful. It was clear they had done this before, but today, the current was strong, and the dam kept collapsing. Tom watched from the shadows, feeling a mix of shyness and longing. He wanted to join in, but uncertainty held him back. Then, he noticed a sturdy branch nearby, just the thing to help reinforce the dam. Gathering his courage, Tom stepped forward, holding out the branch with a hopeful smile. Sam's eyes lit up. "That's brilliant," he exclaimed, taking the branch gratefully. Lily turned to Tom with a warm, welcoming smile. "I'm Lily, and this is Sam. What's your name?" she asked, her voice gentle and kind. Tom's cheeks flushed, but he managed a small, hopeful smile. "I'm Tom. I live nearby," he replied, his voice quiet but steady. For a moment, he felt the weight of his shyness, but the kindness in Lily and Sam's eyes made him feel welcome. As they worked together, Tom's nerves began to fade. The invisible wall he'd always felt around himself started to crumble, replaced by laughter and shared purpose. With each stone they placed and each branch they wedged into the dam, Tom felt more at ease. The three of them cheered as the water finally pooled behind their creation, their teamwork turning a simple task into a small triumph. For the first time, Tom realized he was no longer just an observer in the world around him. He was part of something bigger, something joyful and new. The forest, once a place of solitude, had become a place of friendship and belonging. Days passed, and the trio became inseparable, turning the woods into their kingdom of adventure. One afternoon, Lily shared her grandmother's tale. The sunstone, hidden in the crystal cave on Shadow Mountain, could bring light and reveal the courage within. Sam's eyes lit up. "Let's find it. We could be heroes," Lily warned. "The path is difficult and guarded," but excitement sparkled in her eyes. Tom hesitated, fear tugging at him, but the thought of facing the quest with friends made it possible. "Let's do it," Tom said, and their adventure began. The next day, they set out, spirits high as they left the sunlit woods for the dark, tangled forest of Shadow Mountain. The path grew steep and silent, shadows deepening and unease crept in. Sam's energy faded, Lily guided them carefully, and Tom's quiet observation proved invaluable. He noticed hidden streams and safe paths, helping the group press on. The forest's gloom tested their courage, every sound and shadow feeding old fears. Yet, together, they pushed forward, each step forging their bond. The adventure was no longer a game, it was real, and so was their growing bravery. At last, they reached the mountain summit and found the crystal cave, guarded not by a beast, but by a wide, impassable chasm. The sunstone's glow beckoned from within, but the gap seemed impossible. Sam searched for a way across. Lily studied the drop, and despair threatened to set in. Then Tom remembered stories of old woodsmen and spotted sturdy trees, vines, and a fallen log nearby. "We can build a bridge," Tom said, outlining a plan to use the log and vines to span the chasm. It was risky and required all their skills, but it was their only chance. Together, they prepared for the challenge. The plan demanded Sam's strength, Lily's knots, and Tom's aim. Each of them brought something unique to the table, and together, they formed a team stronger than any one of them alone. The forest was thick with anticipation, the air buzzing with the energy of their shared mission. They knew the challenge ahead would test not just their skills, but their trust in one another. Tom's old fears whispered, but his friend's trust gave him courage. He remembered the times he'd hesitated before, letting doubt hold him back. But now, surrounded by friends who believed in him, Tom felt a new strength rising inside. Their encouragement was like a shield, protecting him from the shadows of his own uncertainty. "I can do it," he said, surprising even himself. The words hung in the air, a promise to his friends and to himself. They pushed the log, tied the vines, and worked as one, each movement a testament to their teamwork. Every knot Lily tied was checked and double-checked. Every push from Sam was met with cheers, and Tom's focus sharpened with every encouraging word. And Tom prepared for the throw. Blocking out doubt, Tom hurled the vine. His heart pounded in his chest, but his hand was steady. The world seemed to pause as the vine sailed through the air, every eye following its arc. In that moment, Tom wasn't just facing a physical gap, he was leaping over the doubts that had held him back for so long. It caught perfectly on the far rock. Relief and pride washed over Tom as his friends cheered. The impossible now seemed possible, and the chasm that once looked so daunting was now just another obstacle they had overcome together. Cheers erupted as they pulled the log into place, forming a bridge. Crossing it, they felt the thrill of accomplishment, each step a reminder of what they could achieve together. The bridge wasn't just wood and rope, it was built from trust, courage, and friendship. Tom realized his courage had always been there, he just needed friends to help him find it. They entered the cave, hearts pounding, ready for whatever awaited. The darkness ahead was no longer frightening, but filled with the promise of new adventures and discoveries. The true test had not been the chasm, nor the darkness of the cave, but the journey within themselves. Looking back at the gap they had crossed, they understood that the real victory was overcoming their own doubts and fears, but believing in themselves and each other. Their unity was their greatest strength, and together, they had discovered the courage that lived inside each of them. The adventure had changed them, forging a friendship that would last a lifetime. Together they had done the impossible. And as they moved forward, they knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them side by side, with courage, trust, and the unbreakable bond of friendship. Inside the cave, the sunstone glowed with a brilliance that seemed to pulse with life itself, casting shifting patterns of light across the ancient stone walls. The air was thick with wonder, and for a moment, time seemed to stand still as the friends gazed at the magical stone, their faces illuminated by its golden radiance. The cavern was transformed, filled with a warm, golden light that chased away every shadow and fear. It was as if the heart of the mountain itself was welcoming them, rewarding their courage and unity with a beauty none of them had ever imagined. In that moment, they understood something deeper. The real treasure was not the sunstone, no matter how dazzling its glow. It was the journey they had taken together, the laughter and the challenges, the moments of doubt and the triumphs they had shared. The bond they'd forged in the darkness of the cave was brighter than any gem. They hugged, laughed, and celebrated, knowing that their friendship was the true prize, something that would last long after the adventure was over. As they began their journey back down the mountain, their steps felt lighter, as if the weight of their worries had been left behind in the cave. The path that once seemed steep and daunting now felt welcoming, each step filled with hope and excitement for what lay ahead. The shadows that had once threatened to overwhelm them now seemed small and harmless, scattered by the sunlight and the strength they found in each other. They walked with confidence, side by side, knowing they could face anything together. Soon they emerged from the mountain's embrace and stepped back into the sunlit woods, where the trees whispered with the gentle breeze, and the world felt alive with possibility. Tom stood with Lily and Sam, sunlight dancing on their faces, and realized how much he had changed. He was no longer the lonely boy who had entered the woods in search of a legend. Now, he was a friend, an adventurer, and someone who had discovered courage not in a magical stone, but in the strength of his own heart and the loyalty of those beside him. The woods, once silent and mysterious, now echoed with laughter and the sound of footsteps. The forest seemed to welcome them, its branches swaying in greeting, its birds singing a joyful song. The air was filled with the music of birds and the promise of new adventures, as if the whispering woods itself was celebrating their return. Tom knew that there would be more challenges ahead, more mysteries to solve, and paths to explore. But he also knew, with absolute certainty, that he would never have to face them alone. With his friends by his side, every obstacle seemed smaller, every adventure more exciting. Together, they could take on the world. The Whispering Woods had given Tom more than just an adventure. It had given him a sense of belonging, a place where he was truly home, and the knowledge that the greatest treasures are the friends we find along the way.